Colleagues, if I could make a kind call to all the delegates that are upstairs, just to make their way down. We're going to commence with our second part of the program. Once again, we must apologize for this technical glitch, and here we were told to trust technology, and when we have all our eggs in the technology basket, it just decides to literally go 6 feet under. Apologies for that, I suppose. Our technical guys now have managed to restore the connection, and we trust that Eskom or the power is also going to work with us going forward through our program. I'll just give the delegates just to make their way down in the next minute or two. Thank you. Welcome back, colleagues. That was a nice long break. I trust and hope that we still do have your attention, and also a great welcome and apologies to our delegates online. I think they have tuned in again. They are streaming successfully on Zoom and YouTube. And without further ado, for us to move to our second session, as I had intimated in the beginning of the program, that our second session is going to comprise of a qualifications update, both from an education, training, and quality assurance perspective, learning programs perspective, and 4IR qualifications that have been developed. To refresh our memories, I will reintroduce our panelists. We have Ms. Natalie Nelson, who heads up our ETQA division. May we give her a round of applause. And we also are joined again by Ernest Nemugavini, who heads up our learning programs division, flanked by Ms. Gugu Sema, who heads up our 4IR division. So I'm going to let Ernest come up and just give us an overview from a learning programs perspective.
Good morning. How are you? Machero. I'm going to give you an overview with regards to learning programs. Our mandate is more of responding to the sector skills plan by implementing learning program that responds to what the SSP have identified as critical and scarce skills within our sector. I'm going to take you through the APP plan targets that we have for the year starting from 1st of April going forward until end of March next year. Then we'll take you through the implementation process. How do we implement our programs? Then we're also going to give you a background with regards to the DG window that has closed in February. Then our mandate is more of responsible for the implementation of SETA skills plan, looking at the programs such as pivotal and non-pivotal. We need to spend 80% of our budget in implementing pivotal programs. Pivotal programs are those programs that are mainly aimed at development or responding to the qualifications, such as skills programs, your learnerships, your candidacy programs, work integrated learnings, as well as short programs. Then non-pivotal is graduate internship programs. Then in terms of budget, we are required to spend around 6.4% of our budget in training high-level skills. Then in terms of intermediate skills, we're looking at around 9.2% of our budget in developing skills that are focusing on intermediate skills. Then we're going to spend 1% of our budget on elementary skills. Then the first indicator is where we have to support learners that are coming from TVET colleges who need workplace experience for them to be able to obtain their qualifications. The annual target is 1,250 annual. This is the annual target, and we have to implement this number nationally across all the 9 provinces. The projected budget, we aim to spend around 87,500,000 to train these learners. It cost us 70,000 to train learners on TVET placement, which is a combination of both a training grant and allowance, where learners have to receive 3.8 a month for them to be able to attend this program. In terms of completion, we're expecting around 500 learners to complete this program. There is no budget allocated for completions because we've already enrolled those learners when they start the program. Then the next intervention is where we focus on students that are coming from University of Technologies who need workplace experience for them to be able to obtain their qualification at the end. And the annual target is 450 learners, and we need to train these learners in all the provinces within this country. We have projected to spend around 31,500,000 to train these numbers. The completion is 225 learners. We're expecting learners to complete the program so that they can be able to participate in the economy through job creations, or some of them they can start their own enterprise. The next intervention is graduate internship programs. There is this perception that our universities or our colleges, they are producing graduates that are not ready for workplace. And these programs, it does bridge that gap where we train learners in the workplace for a period of 12 months. Then from there, some of the companies, they're able to absorb them when they complete the program. The annual target is 850 learners annually. And the cost of this program is around 62,560,000. And in terms of cost or unit cost, it costs us 73,600 to train graduates who are doing an internship program. And one of the challenges that we experience is that this is one of the indicators that is oversubscribed during the window. We receive a lot of applications responding to this intervention. Some they apply to train 1,000, some they apply to train 2,000. But we have limited resources, and if you look at the target, it's 850 for all the stakeholders within our sector. Then the completions is 450. We're expecting around 450 learners to complete the program, but our expectation, we want all the learners that are enrolled in the program to complete the program. Then the next intervention is internship program. Some of you have applied to implement 5,000 learners on learnerships, but our target there is 3,200 for all the stakeholders within our sector at the budget of 181,120,000. The cost per learner is 56,600. We are expecting around 1.6 learners to complete the program, but our wish is that all the learners that are enrolled on the program, they need to complete the program. Then the next intervention is candidacy. You can see this is the annual target. It's not a quarterly target. It's an annual target, which is 80. I know you have applied to implement 2,000 under this indicator, but this is the target that we have for this year. And the completion, we're expecting learners to complete around 50. The next indicator is skills program. I know you wish to train 10,000 learners under this indicator, you as a company. But this is the annual target that we have as a SETA, and that's the budget that has been allocated for that indicator. You can see it's 900, and we need to split this pie to all the stakeholders within the sector. We're operating under limited resources. We wish if we can train billion learners, but we can't. Then the next indicator is short programs, and this indicator is where we train learners on our vendor-specific programs. And they are short in nature, but they do have an impact in our sector. Then the annual target is 900. It's not a mistake, colleagues. That's the target that is there for this current financial year. We're expecting to spend around 45 million. We don't have another budget on top of that 45 million. That's the exact budget that we have for this indicator. Then we wish if we can have more, but we have limited resources. Then the next indicator is for short programs. We're expecting 450 learners to complete the program. And one of the things that we have identified in the past financial year is that most of our learners, they're not doing well, especially with this vendor program. There is a high rate of, in terms of failure rate, and I think we need to improve that. And one of the things that we've picked up is that some of the stakeholders, they're enrolling learners with metric to do short program, and they beg to pass this international exam. Then one of the new requirements that we're going to put in the new financial is that all the learners that are enrolled in this program, they have to be graduates. Then with bursary for workers, that's the annual target, which is 60. We wish if we can train more workers under bursaries, but we've got a limited budget of 5,400,000 to train those 60 workers. Then the other annual target, which is 20, for those that are continuing, those that have been funded in the previous year, then the target is 20, and we've got a budget of 1.8 million. Then for completions, it's 30. Then workers, the annual target is 176. Then we also have an indicator where we support students who are studying a program within our sector, either degree in advertising, IT, telecommunications and electronics. Then we fund those students through bursaries. The cost per student is 90,000, which includes accommodations and their fees for the academic year. Then we also support those that are continuing with their studies, and the annual target is 190. For those that are completing in the current academic year is 126. Then the next indicator is around partnerships. We are planning to have 18 partnerships with our TVET, and we're also planning to have 26 partnerships with higher learning institutions, such as colleges and universities. These just partnerships that are planned for the year. Please don't apply for these interventions, specifically for TVET. There's no funding involved. It's just to have partnerships with those TVET. Then the next program is where we assist TVET managers with training around curriculum-related studies. The annual target is 60, and the projected budget is around 2 million. And we spend 35,000 per learner in that program. There is no allowance involved because they are workers. The next intervention is where we support lectures coming from the TVET colleges with bursaries. The annual target is 60. Then the next indicator is also focusing on the TVET lectures with regards to the skills development programs. The annual target is 70. Then that is the annual budget that we have allocated for that interventions. Then we also have an intervention where we assist in terms of curriculum-related studies. One of the things that we have noted, especially with TVET and CET, most of the programs that they're implementing, they are not responding to the demand. Hence, we're assisting them to be relevant in terms of developing new qualification that's going to respond to 4IR skills or future skills as well. One of the indicators that we have is around AET programs. We do have learners, some of them, they can't pass metric, they're battling with metrics, then they can be assisted with AET programs, they can do basic end user computing so that they can be employable and participate in the economy. Then the next indicators is just completion for workers. We expect those learners that are enrolled to complete around 147 are expected to complete in the new financial year. Then the next indicator is where we support workers that are coming from the CET colleges with basic elementary skills. The annual target is 60. That's the budget that has been allocated for that indicator. The completion, we're expecting around 55 to complete the program. One of the interventions that we do is also support cooperatives that are within our sector with skills development. They can implement various programs, they can implement graduate internship programs, they can implement skills program or short programs. Then the next intervention is where we support SME through skills development. They can apply for funding for any intervention such as your learnerships, graduate internship programs, wheels, as well as short programs. The other intervention which is very exciting is where we train our learners to be able to start up their own enterprise, because we can't keep on producing job seekers. We need to produce learners who can be able to start their own enterprise and employ others as well, so that we can respond to the national challenges that we're having as a country. The next intervention is where we support NGOs and NPOs, specifically those that are within our sector. If you are a daycare center, you belong to Health and Welfare SETA, they will be able to assist you. We are focusing on NGOs that are within our sector, which is media, advertising, electronics, and telecommunications. We wish if we can assist you, but it's not part of our mandate to assist you. The next interventions is where we support unions, only the unions that are within our sector, which is within the advertising space, within the media space, within the telecommunication space, then they can be supported. The annual target is to train 200 union members with regards to skills development. We have allocated a budget of 7 million to train those union workers. Then the next intervention is RPL, where we have to assist those who are in a workplace but they don't have a formal qualifications. Then they can be enrolled for RPL programs and be able to progress and meet the criteria and able to apply for positions in line with their qualifications as well. I think I've covered this one. Okay. The next slides, I'm just going to take you through the process around how do you participate and implement programs in partnership with us. In terms of implementation process, normally as a SETA, we open a DG window. The last window closed around the 13th of Feb, where stakeholders, you have submit your letter of intent, and you are here to understand how far are you with the process. We'll give you an overview around that so that you can understand where we are. Then the first step is for you to submit your letter of intent. Once the SETA receives the letter of intent, then we are able to conduct a verification of compliance document. If you look at the advert, there were some sort of requirements that please attach the following document. Then, which means the first thing that the team do is to verify whether you have submitted all the compliance documents in line with the advert. If you pass that criteria, the next step is that your application will be evaluated by the committee that is responsible for evaluating the applications. Once the committee have evaluated your applications, they make recommendations for vetting, where we deploy our advisors to go and conduct site vetting inspections. They can do it virtually, or they can come to your office. On your application, for example, you say you want to implement a program for 100 learners in Gauteng. Then they want to see where are you going to place the learners, who's going to be the host employers for those learners that are going to participate in that internship. Because the main aim around skills development is to create opportunities for our young people. They cannot be in an internship program making tea for the bosses as part of their workplace experience. They have to be placed in an environment where there is a mentor and they are doing some sort of meaningful work so that when they complete the internship program, they can be employable. If you can't hire the interns that you have provided training to, who's going to hire that intern? If you have not prepared your interns enough in a way that interns can be employable, then as you implement this program, bear in mind that we as a SETA, we implement occupational directed programs which require workplace experience. Hence, there is a need that you need to have host employers that are relevant. You can't put an IT graduate at receptions and you say, this is the workplace for these IT graduates. You are not doing justice to the program. The workplace must be relevant to the qualification of the graduates so that we can address these issues around unemployment. It's the responsibility of all of us to create job opportunities for our young people. I thought you were going to clap hand for that. It's our responsibility to create job opportunities for our young people. Then the next step it will be issuing of SLA for those that are meeting all the requirements. Then once you got an SLA, then you can start implementing the program. Some of you, when you submit the application, you start with the recruitment as well, before you even get the feedback from the SETA. Now, because you are under pressure, because you've recruited the learners, you want to put everybody under pressure. Where is my feedback? It can be positive or negative. You know. It's still the discretion of the SETA to fund or not to fund you, based on the resources that we are having as a SETA. Then, once you got an SLA, then you are able